Hello and welcome to my corner of the universe. As some of you will know, is the UK has been hit by extremely high winds in the last few days, particularly Ireland and Wales. We get quite high winds here as well, but not like what they've had over the last few days, which has been really dangerous and excessive. And did I see somewhere that Glasgow had closed down because everything was just too dangerous to be out with? And it got me thinking about flying. Flying is not my favorite thing in the world. I do it, been lots of places, but it's not my favorite thing because, well, it's the logistics of it. And I don't do very well when there's any kind of turbulence, shall we say. I've been on several flights where the turbulence was spectacular, shall we say. Landing in places in Greece. I think we had one flight on a holiday we'd gone on where the landing was, is it someplace in Greece where one of the islands is in such a place that it's possible to, the runway is very, very small, and it's very possible to, anyway, you could fall off and go into the water. Anyway, it's not much fun. But the flight that I most remember is the last flight I took, and I have not flown since, not because of any, over fear of flying, which there is a bit, but I would do it anyway if they had someplace nice to go. But because the turbulence was really terrible, and that was the just after Christmas in 2019. Actually, it would have been 2020 because I was there for New Year's as well. It was the last time I visited the States, and I remember I was in a graveyard seat, which was, I think I was in the very, very last row on the aisle, and there was no way, you couldn't put your seat back at all, and it was really uncomfortable, and 8 hours of that is, and we've had the proverbial baby. I don't think we had any nuns and priests or ministers or anything like that, but we had babies, and babies are going to do what babies do. And I used to think that my day hadn't been made until I'd heard a child scream, and which, if you went to the grocery store, it's one of the things I always noticed is how long it takes. I have a very perverse sense of humor. How long it takes to hear a baby not happy, or a young child not happy, and whatever. And sort of feel for parents that go shopping with their kids, and their kids are kids, and they just do what kids do. Oh gosh. But I'm not really fond of turbulence. And well, who's fond of turbulence? And I tend, for me, my breathing becomes much more measured, and I probably hyperventilate a bit going through that. We had, it was the proverbial drops, and it was really not a good flight. If any time that I went home at Christmas or around Christmas time, I'd find that was kind of the case, that it wouldn't be, that the flight back was invariably shorter, because it was faster because the wind was pushing you through, but the flight itself was always more bumpy than a lot of other flights have been. I've been on flights that have been great and smooth and wonderful, but that one wasn't. And I think, in fact, one of the times we came back for Christmas, even on the Christmas one I was talking about, the stewardesses were in their seats for quite a lot of the flight, which tells you how bumpy it was. And there was a previous flight where I was coming back from a Christmas holiday, and actually there were some of my students on the flight, and the flight was so bad that I actually screamed. I don't really scream very often, but I gather I was rather impressive. And one of my students says, "Did you scream?" I said, "Yes, I did." She said, "I wanted to as well." I don't think people help themselves about screaming. I think you just kind of do it. I don't think it's something that you plan to do generally. But the wind, I'm reminded because we had quite high winds here yesterday, but not too bad. And a friend of mine was talking about her hearing aids and how the wind was really, really amplified by the hearing aids. And oh gosh. And when I first moved into this little house, I have a chimney. I don't have a fire in the chimney, and there's something that's covering something they call a sheep. It's not like a sheep, it's something else that's keeping a lot of the wind out. But it took me a while to realize that what I was hearing is that when it was really, really windy outside, is that the gushes of wind that were either going across the chimney or down the chimney were quite frighteningly scary and very noisy. And it's the wind, isn't it? I've been fortunate not to experience a tornado. Come close a couple of times. And of course we had tornado warnings when I was a kid. That was not fun. Oh, the wind. I even did a choral piece once that was called Ridiculously. I really loved it because it was the word wind in about 8 different languages. And fortunately, when I did it, the people that were singing it could have gone a whole nother direction with oh God, the wind, a belch, a fart. Fortunately, it was, and I thought it was really lovely because each little language changed the style of music that was being done. I thought it was really lovely. It was really creative way of doing that. Anyway, so today, if you're outside and you're having the wind or whatever, please be safe out there. So from my corner of the universe to yours, whew, huddle up warm. See you soon. Bye. Oh, good grief.